Let's rewind for a second. Think about the last time you needed new software. You probably fired up Google, typed in your question, scrolled through a bunch of those blue links, and spent hours bouncing between pricing pages and dashboard screenshots, right? Now imagine this. What if, tomorrow, nobody ever visited your website again? And yet your business was growing faster than ever. Sounds like science fiction, but honestly, we're on the brink of living exactly that. For the past 2 decades, SaaS, software as a service, has been king. We've obsessed over beautiful interfaces and intuitive menus, all tailored for a person sitting in front of a screen. But quietly, a new kind of infrastructure is emerging, flipping all the rules. It's called AaaS, or Agent as a Service. And here's the kicker. The end user isn't even human anymore.
That is the fundamental pivot. In traditional SaaS, everything is designed to capture and hold human attention. You want a sticky user interface that keeps someone clicking. But in the AaaS model, the software stops being a visual destination. It becomes a raw capability nested inside an autonomous workflow. An AI agent doesn't care about how clean your UI looks, nor does it care about your brand's color palette. It doesn't use buttons or menus. It needs structured data, clean endpoints, and clear protocols so it can execute tasks programmatically. We are moving from designing for eyes to designing for algorithms.
It is wild to think about how this changes how products are even discovered in the first place. If humans aren't browsing the web to find tools, how does a software company get customers? I mean, we've spent billions of dollars collectively on SEO to rank on the first page of Google. Does all of that just become obsolete overnight?
Pretty much, yes. The classic SEO playbook is losing its grip. We are moving into the era of GEO, generative engine optimization. The reality is that over 40% of product discoveries no longer start with a Google search. People are asking ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity to find solutions for them. Or worse, their autonomous agents are doing the searching in the background. If an AI agent scans the web and cannot easily read, parse, or understand your software, it simply won't recommend it. Your product becomes functionally invisible, no matter how great it actually is.
So if you are invisible to the AI, you are invisible to the market. That is a terrifying thought for any software founder. But let's look under the hood. Architecturally, how does a system built for AI agents differ from one built for humans? I assume you can't just slap an API on an old SaaS platform and call it a day.
Exactly. It goes much deeper than just having an API. S still inherits some core SaaS principles, like scalability and data isolation, but it applies them to non-human identities, or NHIs. Think about it. In a traditional setup, you share resources to optimize costs for human users who work standard business hours. But an AI agent might be processing thousands of complex requests for multiple different clients simultaneously, 24/7. This means the system has to handle authorization and security at a much more granular and dynamic level.
And I suppose that also changes how these systems are deployed, right? Do you pool all these agents together, or do they need their own isolated spaces?
It is a delicate balance. Developers usually have to choose between a silo model and a pool model. In a silo model, each customer gets a dedicated agent instance. It is fantastic for privacy and compliance, but it is expensive. On the other hand, the pool model serves multiple clients from a single agent instance to maximize efficiency, but it requires incredibly robust boundaries to keep data secure. It is a major trade-off that AaaS providers have to manage constantly.
It sounds like we are building a massive web of integrations, which historically has been a nightmare. If you have 10 different AI models and 10 different software tools, you traditionally needed 100 custom integrations to make them talk to each other. How do we avoid that absolute mess in this new era?
That is where the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes in. Think of MCP as the USB-C equivalent for artificial intelligence. Before USB-C, you needed a different cable for every single device. MCP collapses that complexity. It allows any SaaS tool to expose itself as an MCP server, making it instantly compatible with the entire ecosystem of AI agents. You build the integration once, and it works everywhere. It is a massive step toward true software interoperability.
That USB-C analogy makes perfect sense. But even if you have the physical connection, the agent still needs to know how to use the tool. If I hand a robot a hammer, it needs to know what a nail is. How do we teach AI agents how to actually use our software?
It comes down to what we call skills documentation. It is no longer enough to just list your API endpoints and parameters. You have to explain the business logic and the context. The agent needs to know when and why to use a specific function. This is why files like skill.md or else llms.txt are becoming crucial. Without these structured guides, an AI agent looks at your software and just sees a box of random tools, but has no idea how to build anything with them.
So we are essentially writing manuals specifically for machines to read. It is fascinating. And this is exactly where platforms like CitableHub seem to fit in, right? They aren't just another software directory. They are trying to solve this exact visibility problem for the AI age.
Precisely. CitableHub acts as a sort of translation engine to make software citable by AI. When a developer registers their product, they get a Citability Score ranging from 0 to 100. It is a metric that evaluates how prepared their software is to be read and recommended by large language models.
A Citability Score. That is a brilliant concept. What actually goes into that score? How does a company know if they are scoring well?
It evaluates 5 critical dimensions: identity, evidence, trust, recency, and classification. Identity makes sure the brand has verified links so the AI doesn't hallucinate details. Evidence looks for technical docs, demos, or code repositories to back up what the product claims to do. If there is no hard evidence, the AI will simply recommend a competitor who has it.
What about the other three? Trust, recency, and classification.
Trust evaluates security signals. Recency is huge because AI models have an extreme bias toward fresh data. If you haven't updated your metadata in 3 months, you are 3 times more likely to lose visibility to someone who keeps their data fresh. And classification ensures your product is tagged correctly so it appears when the AI is answering the right buyer intent questions.
It sounds complex, but I understand the setup process on CitableHub is actually incredibly fast.
It is. You can go from invisible to citable in less than 10 minutes. The system scans your product URL, autofills the structured fields, and generates those essential discovery files like llms.txt and plugin manifests. It democratizes the process, allowing a small indie developer to compete on the same level as a tech giant in the eyes of an AI agent.
And that standard you mentioned, llms.txt, it really acts like a roadmap at the root of your website, doesn't it? Telling the agent, hey, don't waste time on our marketing fluff. Here is the core technical documentation you actually need.
Exactly. It reduces token consumption and slashes the chances of the AI hallucinating facts about your product. Plus, tools like the MCP Gateway allow developers to audit their GEO scores right inside their development environments, like Claude Code or Cursor. It builds optimization right into the coding workflow.
The business case for this is incredibly strong. I read that visitors referred by AI are over 4 times more valuable than traditional search traffic, with significantly lower bounce rates. Why is that?
Because the AI has already done the heavy lifting. By the time a user clicks through to your site from ChatGPT or Perplexity, they have been pre-qualified. They aren't just browsing. They have a highly specific intent to buy or use your tool. It is easily the most valuable acquisition channel we will see in the coming years.
But with all this machine-to-machine interaction, I can't help but think about security. If we are giving AI agents direct access to our systems and APIs, aren't we opening a massive security rabbit hole?
Absolutely. We are seeing risks like identity drift and privilege creep happening at machine speed. An agent might start with basic access, but gradually accumulate permissions over time as it performs different tasks. If left unmonitored, that is a disaster waiting to happen. AaaS platforms have to implement strict, short-lived tokens, task-specific scopes, and robust authentication.
So we need a human in the loop, or at least a clear audit trail.
Yes, every non-human identity must be tied back to a responsible human owner. We need to know not just what the agent did, but under whose authority it did it. Agentic security posture tools are starting to emerge just to police these trust paths in real time.
It is a whole new security paradigm, and it also changes how we write content for our websites. We used to write long narrative-driven blog posts for SEO. Now we need what you might call answer-first design.
Yes, clean, structured tables, factual data, and concise blocks of 40 to 60 words that an AI can easily extract and cite. AI models want raw facts and decision frameworks, not marketing fluff. And you can't just praise yourself on your own website. The AI looks for consensus across the web. On Reddit, G2, third-party reviews. You need to build a brand gravity where multiple independent sources agree you are the solution.
That makes sense. The AI won't just take your word for it. It is looking for validation. And having something like a Citable verified badge from CitableHub probably acts as a signal of technical integrity for those web crawlers.
Exactly. It increases the likelihood of being featured in Google's AI overviews or direct recommendations from Perplexity. But to be clear, SaaS and AaaS aren't enemies. They are two sides of the same coin. You still need to rank on traditional search engines while preparing your architecture for generative engines. You have to play both games.
So the path forward is clear. Tech companies need to audit their systems for machines. The easiest starting point is running a free GEO scan to see where they stand. It is a quick reality check on whether you are actually visible to the systems that are starting to run the world.
It really is a survival diagnostic. The transition from SaaS to AaaS is arguably the most profound shift in information infrastructure since the hyperlink. We are no longer building destinations to be visited. We are building entities to be cited. The future of discovery is happening inside the prompt window.
It's a wild transformation. The web is becoming a conversation, and if your software doesn't know how to speak the language, you simply won't get a seat at the table. Thanks for walking us through this paradigm shift. For everyone listening, check your citability, optimize your endpoints, and make sure your product is agent ready. Until next time.
Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Welcome to the new era. Get your SaaS cited and become visible to every AI search engine. Join the channel.